What's going on, guys? This is the Club with the Man 1993, and with me being out traveling for the past week and other stuff was going on, catching up with some other little topics I wanted to briefly address on the channel. Unfortunately, two of them I'm recording today are sad news from recently. The first one I'm doing right now is a brief, video on Michael Gambon. Well, Sir Michael Gambon, who passed away back on September 27th at the age of 82, just a few weeks away from his 83rd birthday. And the cause of death was confirmed as a battle with pneumonia. Gambon, of course, who I'm sure a lot of people more know of other different things he was involved with, other acting roles he was in. The thing, of course, is why I'm doing this video that I best know him for is his time with Harry Potter, as a big Harry Potter fan, which my wife and I are both big fans of. And he played Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts, from The Prisoner of Azkaban till the remainder of the series. He took over after Richard Harris, who originally played Albus Dumbledore, passed away shortly after the completion of the filming for Chamber of Secrets. They brought in Gambon to replace him. Now, I won't lie at first. Like, when I first saw Michael Gambon in Prisoner of Azkaban, I just felt he was a little more hardcore, a little bit more of an aggressive Dumbledore than what Richard Harris was. Richard Harris was very soft-spoken, you knew he was a good guy. I mean, not saying that Michael Gambon at first wasn't. At first, he just his tone came across a little differently. Even in the books or whatnot, it always came across as Dumbledore was more of a gentler person, basically. Even though, of course, you don't mess with him because he knew how to take on people like Voldemort. But of course, as time went by, I did grow to definitely like him and accept him in the role. One of my favorite stories I heard about him, because from the articles I've read, he did have a very jokester type humor too. He was a funny guy, it sounded like. He was also, I think what Daniel Radcliffe described him as, he loved his job, but he didn't have his job completely define who he was, which was interesting. But one of my favorite stories from behind the scenes involving Michael Gambon with Harry Potter was in Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know if anybody else has heard this story before. There's the scene where everyone is sleeping in the Great Hall because the fat lady had seen Sirius Black in the castle. And Daniel Radcliffe apparently had a crush on one of the extras. So I guess he was hoping to be placed next to her. Never told us who it was, but apparently it was an extra. And I guess to be funny, and they've shown the blooper reel, Alan Rickman, who played Severus Snape, rest his soul as well, and Michael Gambon was in on this joke where they put a fart machine inside Daniel Radcliffe's sleeping bag. And when you watch the blooper, you see he's pressing some button to activate the machine. And everyone's just slowly smiling, slowly cracking up. It was hilarious. That stuff was just hilarious. And it showed also at least that them Michael Gambon, Alan Rickman, they all had a good bond with the younger child actors and whatnot. Even when Alan Rickman died back in 2016, Daniel Radcliffe would say how Rickman would make efforts to come be there for some of his performances on the other side of the earth, which he really didn't have to do. But what I always thought was he was very loyal and supportive of everybody else's roles and whatnot they did. And Michael Gambon seemed like he was the same way as well. Of course, that's also a couple more of the big names in Hogwarts that unfortunately have passed away. The actors it is Severus Snape, now Michael Gambon. Apparently, the lady who played Mrs. Malfoy passed away also. Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid, has recently passed away as well, and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head from what I heard. But yeah, unfortunately, Michael Gambon is the most recent one. Again, I wish I could talk more about him because I know he's probably well known in other roles too. But like I said, me being a big Harry Potter nerd, he's definitely the thing I remember most for. And that fart machine blooper was just hilarious, I thought. But yes, my thoughts and prayers do go out to Michael Gambon and his family. I do hope Michael Gambon is resting in peace where he deserves. And yes, I do pray for him. And of course, you could pray for his family as well during this difficult time. As Michael Gambon, Sir Michael Gambon, passed away back on September 27th, 2023 from pneumonia at the age of 82.